So why should we draw these leaves, these curved leaves that are so difficult to draw? Well, I have here some examples of my work, and I just wanted to show you how the curved leaves are actually quite important when you do something like this, even a simpler version of this, because when you have these leaves that move like this, for example, that curve, or like this one, or in here, for example, there are these leaves that curl around, this one here, so even this one. And here you don't see the leaves actually curling or folding, but they still have some movement. And here we have this one that is folding, and this one here that is folding. So when you have leaves like this, they actually give movement to your paintings or your drawings. If you draw in graphite, it doesn't have to be a colored painting, but it will give you that movement that gives a sort of realistic effect. So if you have all the leaves simply, so if, let's say you have a flower here and the leaves are just all like that, like flat and all towards you, all looking like this, it's kind of a flat, almost naive painting, drawing, whatever you do. I mean, it can be a style, so I made it a bit small, I think, for the camera, so I'm going to make it a bit bigger and a bit darker. So there we go. Like this you can see it better. So it can be, I was saying, a style, of course, and you can now very stylized flower there. But as you can see, it's very flat and static. So if you like this sort of thing, it's like a almost like graphic design, for example. It could be good for pattern design, but if you want to do something a little bit more realistic with a little bit more flow and more life to it, then as soon as you start adding leaves that sort of curl, and I'm going to do something like really easy here, I'm not going to use much time, so something like this, and something like that. See, as you can see, this is already giving the idea of movement. So I'm going to put it a bit closer to the camera, so you can see the difference here. And even with the petals, I'm not sure if I have an example in here, but here, for example, this petal is sort of curving. These ones are seen by the side, so they are curving. These petals here, you can see the side of it. I'm going to put it closer. So, and this petal here, and let's see, these petals are also curving. So you can apply what I'm going to teach you when you're drawing flowers as well. If you have, for example, petals like this for the rose, or this one, for example, is also curving, and this one a little bit, but not too much. And if you have like a daisy or something where the petals, you can see them like foreshortened, so it's not face on, like simply seeing from the front like this, but you can draw them where the front ones are a little bit shorter, and then it looks as if it's tilted a little bit. Well, this is not the best example, but something like that. And then one of these petals could be sort of have a little bit of a movement, and could be something like that. So it could be folded. So as you can see, you can apply what you learn for the leaves for the petals as well. So let's say this is the back of the petal. So it depends what flower you're doing. So this is why it's important to learn how to draw leaves like this, because it just gives you a sort of a different look to your work if we give you this flow and movement, and make everything a bit more realistic as well. Okay, so that was just a little explanation why this is important. It's an important skill to learn, and now we can move on to the next lesson. Okay, so we are finally going to draw the leaves, and I have two methods to show you. So one of them is to use the midrib and draw that first. Now it would be a bit different, your view from my view. So, you know, if you see a different drawing on the page from what you can see the leaf is, it would be for that reason. But hopefully I will show you how to, I will explain probably how to do this. So you can start with bending your leaf in a way that you like, and then so I could do this one, which is maybe the simpler one to start with. So you will see it sort of that way. I have to tilt it a little bit because otherwise I won't see it properly when I'm drawing it. But this should be the view, so the point pointing towards you when you have it upright and facing you. I hope this makes sense. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to start. So the first method I show you is using the midrib. So when you look at the midrib, just draw that. And so if I do it a little bit like this, so you don't have this midrib coinciding with this one, so it's less confusing to start with. So you need to draw this curve. Okay, something like that. And then the green side, so the side on the left, it sort of goes like this, and then it turns and it comes down. And then you have this side here, and then the red goes on this side, so it does this curve. Again, it will be a little bit different from your view and my view. So something like that, maybe a little bit less pronounced here. The eraser is your friend here. And of course, light touch. And then here you have this part. So that, like that. And then when you finish that, you erase what you don't see or what you can't normally see, which is this line here. So with this method you will erase, you will draw all the line and then erase the ones that you don't normally see. And you have your first leaf, which is more or less something like that. It will always be a little bit different from what I see, but more or less is that, like this. So it's all a matter of following the lines.